She kissed a stranger to escape her past, unknowingly revealing an incredible billionaire love story. Emily Harper leaned against the cool bar wall, the din of laughter and clinking glasses swirling around her like a comforting embrace. Dressed in scrubs that bore the faint scent of antiseptic and exhaustion, she was a world apart from the ghosts that haunted her. Nursing shifts blurred into an endless cycle of triage and tenderness, while her son Jake swirled through his own turbulent teenage years. Every day redefined resilience, but tonight she felt desperate for a fleeting escape. A kiss with a stranger was an impulsive detour she never anticipated, a moment to breach the weight of her burdened heart. She hadn't expected David's lips to ignite her skin, sending shockwaves through her layered defenses. Yet, as he stepped back, uncertainty rolled in like a storm. How could a woman burdened with responsibility, shackled by the betrayal of her estranged family, crave such a connection? It was as if the kiss whispered promises she had long abandoned. A flicker of hope stirred, and with it, dread bloomed. Love was the luxury she couldn't afford, wasn't it? But that thought drowned in the cacophony of her mind, mixing with the aftertaste of their kiss. Would she let her heart linger on the memories of her past while her son navigating crucial decisions? The ache of familial betrayal echoed in her bones, her own mother's abandonment, her father's silence, a lingering betrayal that had etched a lifetime of doubt into her soul. A longing for stability battled with the thrill of possibility. Should she chase this chance, or was she just prolonging the inevitable sadness of unfulfilled wishes? The moment fizzled, and she returned home, where Jake awaited, unaware that his mother bore secrets as heavy as their shared dinners, a tangled web of love and loss that could never be simplified. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days passed, each one compiling layers of thought that became harder to peel away. Each time she rounded a corner at work or met a friend, the memory of David's smile etched itself deeper into her mind. Maybe it was a reckless dream to think she could embrace life again. And yet, as her shifts grew harder, filled with suffering and strength, his laughter flickered in the back of her mind, offering a warmth she didn't recognize she missed. Meanwhile, David, a man entangled in his own gilded cage, was relentlessly digging deeper into the reality of Emily's life. What was leading him to pursue a woman so different from the world he inhabited? He could feel the tension building within them both. Yet, the distance between them, defined by social constructs, broadened the wounds lurking beneath. Where would they fit, entwined in a tempest of disparity and unvoiced expectations? As sleep eluded her that night, Emily faced an inward struggle. Would she risk it all for a slip of happiness? Or would the shadows of her past remain the boundaries of her heart? She felt like a bird flapping against an open cage, longing, yet terrified to take flight. The bittersweet ache coiled around her like a vine, gripping tighter with each unresolved question. The looming uncertainty hung heavier than ever as her phone buzzed, illuminating the screen with a daring message from David. She hesitated, breath caught in her throat. What would she say? Would she let him in, or would she let fear win yet again? The message from David glowed like a beacon in the dimness of her cluttered kitchen, but Emily found herself paralyzed by indecision. The last few days had been a delicate balancing act, and just as she felt her footing, the slant of a new possibility threatened to topple her. Was it worth the risk of letting someone into a life so precariously structured? She ignored the nagging sense of danger that teased her instincts. What did she truly know about David? A kiss in a crowded bar didn't lay the foundation for trust, and love, even in the form of an escape, demanded vulnerability. Did she even have that left in her? With a trembling hand, she finally opened the message. "Hey, Emily, I've been thinking about our conversation, and you. Can we talk?" There was an openness in his words, a gentle nudge that neither dismissed her fears nor pressured her. For a moment, her mind raced through the myriad of what-ifs, but David's calmness juxtaposed sharply against her internally spiraling chaos. With each day she spent wrapped in the routine of nursing, it became increasingly clear that escape, no matter how fleeting, was non-existent. Only with the presence of another did it feel right to even consider. But to engage with David meant reaching into the depths of her heart, something she had fought against for so long. Could she trust that he wouldn't walk away like her mother had, leaving behind echoes of betrayal? The problem with emotional walls wasn't just their strength, it was holding on to a lifetime of pain and loss. If she had learned anything, it was that vulnerability bore consequences, often bitter. But she craved the connection, the laughter, the possibility of something brighter. As a nurse, she had witnessed the power of human connection to heal, to lift burdens, and the thought stirred something long buried within her. The following morning, driven by a mix of trepidation and resolve, Emily decided to respond. "When," she typed, her fingers betraying a flicker of hope that had lain dormant for far too long. She sent the message before her mind could fill with replaceable doubts. For the first time in ages, she was making a choice rather than letting life circumstances define her. Days turned into an unceremonious collection of moments as she waited for his reply. Her shifts grew heavier, filled with patient stories woven into tapestries of struggle. Each story sharpened her empathy, molding her into the caretaker she was meant to be. Yet somewhere in the middle of healing others, she began to grapple with her own wounds. During a particularly grueling shift, she confronted a patient who resented her care, channeling his anger towards her for his circumstances. It rattled her, but in the process, she uncovered her own strength. Maybe this was the confrontation she needed. "You can choose how you respond," she told him, and the words rang with newfound authority. It struck her as profound. She, too, was standing at a crossroads. Facing David would be no different than engaging with this patient. She had to confront her fears in both settings, to fight for connection and healing for herself just as she did for others. As night fell, the gratifying weight of her resolve cocooned her. She looked out the window, the city's lights twinkling like distant stars, offering a glimpse of hope. Yet, just as she settled into the quiet, her phone lit up again, a message from David dancing across the screen. "How about dinner tomorrow? Just us." Her heart raced. It was a clear invitation to leap into the unknown. But what lurked beneath that could shatter her newfound conviction and plunge her back into the grips of past betrayals. The moment had come. The time had arrived to either embrace this unexpected path or spiral back into the shadows. Would she forge ahead, willing to taste the risk of love? Or would she retreat into the safety of solitude, forever haunted by what could have been? Only one choice remained, and as she hovered over her response, the very essence of her fate hung in the balance. The uncertainty tightened around Emily like a vice, the pressure palpable as she considered her choice. Dinner with David offered a path shrouded in both fear and anticipation. Each tick of the clock amplified her doubt, but she couldn't ignore the tingle of excitement that cascaded through her at the thought of seeing him. What would happen when she faced him? Would she crumble or rise to meet the moment? She drafted a reply, her fingers dancing over the screen, hesitating between typing, "Sure, I'd love to," and "maybe another time." Just as she was about to hit send, her reflection caught in the window, pale and uncertain. This couldn't be her life. The timid aftermath of a long emotional battle had to evolve. The nurse in her had whispered the critical truth. Healing required risk. Sure, I'd love to. When she felt the send button click under her fingertip, a surge of courage coursed through her. A confirmation that she was willing to bridge the chasm that had long defined her existence. The celebratory flutter didn't last long. Doubt crept back in, a familiar specter threatening to latch on to her decision. Emily was acutely aware that this dinner could unravel tightly wound threads of her carefully constructed life. The following day dragged on as she navigated through nurses' rounds, each brush with patience sharpening her focus. A little girl with bright, expressive eyes had recently stayed with them longer than expected, and her laughter lightened the suffocating atmosphere that often draped over the ward. Emily remembered that laughter, an anchor to her humanity amidst chaos. It was a reminder that connection, like vulnerability, could lead to renewal. Her relationship with her patients was rich with emotions, but maintaining her own emotional equilibrium proved to be a far more daunting challenge. As evening approached, she fought against the phantom memory of abandonment and the inky tendrils of fear that clung to it. A sense of determination materialized. She'd confront her past, but also honor her present. The restaurant was inviting, its ambiance warm and intimate. A mix of wooden accents echoed the charm she had come to appreciate in David. Yet within her, the remnants of skepticism loomed large. What if he was nothing more than a fleeting moment of excitement? The prickle of anxiety made her feel ill at ease, yet she dove deeper into the prospect of growth. She had asked him to come here, after all. She had made the choice. And then she saw him, standing just inside the entrance. David's presence was magnetic, drawing her gaze and making her heart race anew. He was handsome in a way that was disarming, exuding an easy confidence that belied his apparent wealth. As he caught sight of her, his face broke into a crooked smile, instantly igniting a spark within her that caught her off guard. "Hey, you look amazing," he said, genuine warmth in his voice. "Thanks," she replied, unable to suppress the smile that blossomed on her face, the tension easing as they sat down. But layers of uncertainty clung to every casual exchange, as if her hesitations danced an unseen waltz around them. As they exchanged stories over dinner, Emily felt the walls around her heart begin to crack just a little. David was engaging and surprisingly attuned to her thoughts, reflecting back her world with an understanding that resonated like a soft echo. His laughter filled the spaces between them, illuminating shadows she hadn't realized lingered so greatly. Yet just as she began to feel a glimmer of trust, a mention of his past partnership slipped from David's lips, laced with a ghost of pain. The revelation sent a jolt through her, an unintentional reminder that vulnerability came at a price. "It's hard to let someone in after hurt," he said, and she was struck by a reflection of her own fears. The conversation shifted seamlessly to lighter topics, but Emily could feel the air thickening. How deep would they venture into their histories? Would the weight of their shared pains bind them or keep them apart? His gaze fixed on her, and she realized she needed to make a decision, not just for tonight, but for the future she was on the precipice of embracing. In that moment, admiration wrestled with price. She saw a man, flawed yet earnest, who wore his heart on his sleeve, and it terrified her. She would have to decide if she could lean into the chance of emotional intimacy, risking heartbreak for the possibility of love, a leap of faith into uncharted waters. As she prepared to respond to his question about how her day had been, echoes of her past washed over her, colorful, tumultuous memories threatening to envelop her. Would this night lead to healing or unraveling? And as her mouth opened to speak, she remained acutely aware that the answer would likely shift everything in her life. The moment hung suspended between them, a fragile bubble filled with unspoken words. Emily's heart raced, not merely from the magnetic gravity of David's gaze, but from the weight of her own hesitations. Could she embrace the possibility of connection, or would her scars pull her backward, consuming her resolve? Taking a deep breath, she prepared to share her day, determined to carve a new path, even if it meant exposing her vulnerabilities. "My day was busy but rewarding," she began, her voice steadier than she felt. "I spent time with a little girl who's been dealing with a lot. Her laughter is contagious, and it reminds me why I love being a nurse." David leaned in, interest dancing in his eyes. "That sounds wonderful." Just then, his hand reached across the table, lightly grazing hers. A jolt of energy passed between them, a spark igniting the quiet flame of connection. Yet, the ghosts of past relationships flooded her mind, a stark reminder of how fragile this newfound intimacy felt. As the evening progressed, the restaurant buzzed around them, yet time seemed irrelevant. David revealed snippets of his own life, the joys of his career, the challenges of personal ties. The more he spoke, the clearer his earnestness became. Emily found herself sliding deeper into the enticing warmth enveloping them. "I want to build something real," he said, sincerity anchoring his eyes. Caution urged her to retreat, to armor herself in the cold familiarity of self-protection. But something within nudged her to lean against the sword's edge, to explore what lay beyond her entrenched fears. Here was a man who exuded authenticity, and though she felt her pulse quickening, vulnerability swelled within her as well. "So, if you're so open to connections," she ventured slowly, "what's your biggest fear?" He paused, contemplation weaving through his expression. "Honestly, it's the fear of repeating past mistakes, of trusting too easily and getting hurt. But I can't live in that fear forever. I have to take the risk." The words resonated, striking a chord that reverberated through her own hesitations. Could she genuinely risk trusting someone once more? "I understand that fear," she admitted, her voice thickening with emotion. "Even in my job, it's always a balancing act to care for others while keeping my heart safe." Their conversation shifted gears, and laughter danced on their lips, momentarily easing the heaviness of their histories. Yet beneath this camaraderie, doubt still loomed. Each joke exchanged nudged her closer to uncharted territory, but the shadows of her past lingered, whispering discouragement as they dined. As dessert arrived, Emily noticed how David watched her intently. His gaze demanded a deeper commitment, one that she wasn't entirely prepared to embrace. Butterflies tangled in her stomach when he asked, "What happens next, Emily? Where do we go from here?" She looked away, fingers tracing the rim of her glass, heart thumping. Was she ready to confront this new reality? The stifling tendrils of emotional fear coiled tighter, and the vulnerability she thought she had embraced now felt heavy. She needed to break free from the constraints of her past. "Honestly, I don't know yet," she replied, voice taut with honesty. David's expression shifted, a mix of disappointment and hope dancing in his features. This moment mattered. It was pivotal. If she could not articulate her boundaries now, would she lose this opportunity for intimacy altogether? Then, summoning courage, she decided to fully engage. "I want to explore this, but I also need time. Can we just take it slow and see where it leads?" A flicker of relief crossed his face, lighting up his eyes. "Slow is good. I'm willing to wait for you." The promise hung between them like a lifeline. It was a commitment, but also an invitation that challenged her to trust. Trust this man, trust herself. As the hunger for connection grew, so did the awareness of the risks they both faced. Will he be patient enough to wait for her walls to crumble? Would they successfully navigate the complex currents of their emotions? As Emily left the table, her heart danced between fear and exhilaration. The dinner had marked a turning point, an acceptance of uncertainty, yet also a cautious embrace of possibility. She stepped out into the night air, ready to explore what this connection might mean. But as she turned to look back at him one last time, a phone call interrupted her thoughts, and the trepidation she felt transformed into a looming dread. "Emily, we need to talk about something important." The words echoed ominously, jolting her into a reality she had not anticipated. And she wondered, was she truly prepared for whatever news awaited her? The phone call shattered the remnants of the tender moment she had just shared with David, leaving Emily grappling with a swirl of emotions. She glanced at the screen, an uninvited reminder of responsibilities that pulled her away from the intoxicating possibility of romance. The name flashing back at her, Ava, ignited a sense of urgency simmering beneath the surface. "Emily, are you there?" The voice, filled with a mix of concern and obligation, broke through her reverie. "Yes, I'm here." Her voice felt small, a stark contrast to the confidence she had briefly built with David. "We need to talk about the new patient we've just admitted. It's serious." Ava had a way of cutting to the chase, a skill honed through years of working together in a high-pressure environment. "Can this wait, please?" Emily found herself pleading, her heart still tethered to the evening's warmth. But Ava's response was immediate, quick, and unwavering. "No, it can't. This is important for the team and for the patient. You need to be ready for whatever comes next." The edge in her voice jolted Emily into reality, grounding her in the stark obligations of her job that contrasted sharply with the hope she felt toward David. With a deep sigh, Emily took a small step back from the happiness she had touched upon only moments ago. "Okay, I'll be there." "Our meeting is in 30 minutes, Ava said, her tone softening. "I know things have been really tough, but we're in this together." As the call ended, Emily felt her breath hitch. Her profession was a relentless beast that often demanded her emotional availability while leaving little room for personal happiness. In the depths of her heart, she felt a flicker of doubt about her ability to balance her professional duties with her emerging desire for connection. She hurried to her car, her mind racing. The burdens of the hospital, the responsibility of caring for those in need, suddenly loomed larger than the thrill of new beginnings. An internal struggle surged within her, the commitment she yearned for, and the responsibilities that tethered her to her past. Driving through the softly lit streets, she couldn't help but replay the moments with David. The way he had looked at her, the sincerity in his voice, the connection they had begun to weave. Was it foolish to entertain thoughts of a relationship when her professional life often left her emotionally drained? Arriving at the hospital, Emily felt the familiar weight of her scrubs, comforting yet stifling. As she stepped inside, the buzz of activity enveloped her like a reminder of her purpose. Patients awaited care, and she was prepared to confront this reality head-on. Yet even among the chaos, thoughts of David flitted through her mind. What would it look like to blend those two parts of her life? To have a partner who truly understands the demands of being a nurse? Ava met her in the hallway. "You ready?" she asked, assessing the tension etched on Emily's face. "Yeah, let's do this," Emily replied, trying to channel her uncertainty into determination. As they walked together toward the nurse's station, she realized this was more than a shift. It was an overture of personal growth, a test of her resolve, and a confrontation with her own fears. In the days that followed, she immersed herself in the rigorous demands of her job, finding solace in the predictability of her routines. Yet, with each passing hour, the question lingered: could she allow herself to be vulnerable and invest in a relationship? Her shifts grew busier, the patients more complex, the nights longer. But in those fleeting moments of solitude, when the chaos settled, her thoughts spiraled back to David. Something about him felt different. He understood fear, yet pushed for trust. An echo of everything she wanted but hadn't yet dared to grasp. It was a revelation that gnawed at her, compelling her to examine what it meant to embrace both her professional rigor and burgeoning sense of personal connection. The balance felt precarious, yet more essential than ever. As she prepared for yet another demanding night shift, a message dinged on her phone. A simple "thinking of you" from David. A spark ignited within her, a surge of hope mingling with anxiety. Was she ready to navigate this complexity, to find synergy between her caregiving profession and the intimacy she longed for? The prospect of it sent shivers down her spine, exhilarated and terrified all at once. With a heavy heart, but a nauseating thrill in her stomach, Emily decided then and there, it was time to confront her fears and take the next step. But little did she know that the chaos at work was about to take a turn, anchoring her in an emergency that would change everything, including the path she would take with David. The unforeseen, it seemed, was just around the corner, waiting to blur the lines of her carefully crafted existence. The moment Emily stepped onto the ward, the atmosphere was electric with tension. A flurry of medical personnel moved with urgency, heads down, focused, yet each face revealed an underlying concern. Before she could process the scene, Ava approached her, urgency etched deeply into her features. "Emily, we need an extra hand in Trauma 1. We've got a multi-casualty incident with a bus crash. It's bad," Ava informed her, her voice steady despite the chaos unfurling around them. Emily's heart sank. Adrenaline surged through her as she nodded, slipping into professional mode without hesitation. "I'm on it," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. This was what she had trained for, where instinct met expertise, allowing her to detach from personal struggles. Yet as she sprinted toward Trauma 1, a nagging thought clawed at the corners of her mind. The time with David, fragile and tentative, felt worlds away. Would he understand her world? Would he accept the unpredictability of her life? No time for self-doubt or romantic musings now. She would have to push those thoughts aside. The trauma room was a whirlwind of organized chaos. She joined the flurry around a gurney where injuries spilled out like confessions. The victims were a sobering reminder of her reality. The scent of antiseptic filled her lungs, grounding her. But the sight of a young girl with a vacant expression made her stomach churn. This was why she was here. It was both her calling and her burden. "IV lines," called out the lead physician, and Emily swiftly engaged, drawing from well-worn habits, working fluidly as she and the team triaged and stabilized patients. There was a crack in her emotional wall. Every pulse she checked echoed her own anxieties. Every life saved reminded her of sacrifices made. In the midst of the flurry, with hands busy and mind racing, her gaze flickered to the door just as David walked in, eyes scanning the scene. "What the hell?" he whispered to himself, taking in the devastation unfolding around him before locking eyes with her. It was just a momentary glance, but it sparked a surge of confusion in her. What was he doing here? How could he possibly understand? Her heart raced, not just from the trauma, but from the unexpected reminder of everything she'd tucked into a neat box. The connection, the warmth, the fear of losing it all to the demands of her job. "Emily," Ava's voice cut through her spiraling thoughts. "Right here," she replied, snapping back to focus. But the thoughts of David still lingered, a thread tugging at her, reminding her of possibilities and the vulnerability she had been hesitant to embrace. Hours passed, and Emily lost herself in the intricacies of medical procedures, each moment steeped in urgency. Yet, as the chaos gradually subsided, she couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted within her. She had confronted the worst of emergencies and emerged triumphant. confidence began to bloom amidst the wreckage of her fears. But in the quiet moments between patients, she noticed the whisper of her previous connection to David. His presence insisted on pressing up against her psyche. Could she truly reconcile the two worlds? Was it possible that she could sustain the demands of her profession without sacrificing her personal aspirations? By the time her shift ended, Emily felt unmoored. The adrenaline high had begun to wane, leaving her exhausted yet resolute in a way she hadn't anticipated. As she gathered her belongings, she turned to find David lingering outside the ward entrance, concern etched across his face. "Emily, can we talk?" he asked, his voice low and earnest, catching her off guard. That single question consolidated the day's happenings into a moment of clarity. She stood at a precipice. Could she dive into this possibility without fear? Perhaps the unfolding chaos of her career didn't necessitate the end of her personal desires, but instead could converge in unison. With resolve swelling inside her, Emily replied, "Yes, we need to." And as they stepped away from the hospital's frenetic energy, she realized she was ready to confront not just her fears of intimacy, but also the unpredictable nature of her dual existence. Another challenge loomed ahead, and the horizon of her life was shifting unexpectedly, leading her into uncharted waters. What would be revealed? At conversation? And could her readiness to embrace vulnerability be enough to bridge the chasm between her two worlds? As they stepped outside the chaos of the hospital, the air grew quieter, almost inviting. The bright lights of the emergency room faded behind them, but Emily felt a swarm of thoughts battling within. She took a deep breath, summoning the courage to confront the complexities of her heart. "Emily," David started, his voice steady but tinged with an unmistakable tremor. "I had no idea you were in the middle of all that." His eyes widened in concern, a mix of admiration and apprehension evident in his gaze. Do you do this every day?" "What do you mean?" she asked, feigning a nonchalant tone, but her heart raced, squares of apprehension building in her chest. "I mean, being in the middle of this kind of chaos, it's incredible, but it's terrifying at the same time. I admire you, but I can't help worrying too." His words ignited something within her. This was her life, but she wasn't just seeking admiration. She needed understanding. "It's not easy, David. It's not just the chaos. It's the emotional weight, the fear. Sometimes it feels like I'm carrying the entire burden alone." He nodded, his expression shifting into one of empathy. "I get that. I've seen you dive into your work, but I didn't realize the cost it has on you. You seem so strong." The compliment was both a balm and a burden. For so long, she had prided herself on her resilience, but could she also allow herself to appear vulnerable? "I can be strong, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Sometimes I feel like I'm on a tightrope, trying not to fall." "But what if you don't have to do it alone?" He stepped closer, piercing through her defenses with his sincerity. "Have you considered that maybe I can be part of that balance?" That proposition sent a ripple through Emily's mind. She wanted to lean in, to embrace this possibility of shared understanding, but something held her back. Her insecurities about allowing someone else into her life, her chaotic world. "I want to, David, I do, but it's complicated." The admission felt like a risk, a daring decision to reveal her fears. "I don't know if I can be what you need." He didn't flinch. Instead, he took a step back, giving her space but still maintaining eye contact that felt both intense and comforting. "What do you think that looks like for you? We could figure it out together, but it requires honesty. Are you ready for that?" She hesitated, battling her own instinct to retreat. This was a pivotal moment. She needed to draw from the resilience she had cultivated in her profession, the same resilience that had carried her through the harrowing hours before. "I think I need to explore it, to understand what it means. a relationship, this connection, but it's not something I'm accustomed to. Let's start small then, he suggested softly. No expectations, just conversations. I want to understand your world, and I want you to be able to talk to me without feeling pressured. The simplicity of his suggestion struck a chord within her. Conversations, no certainty, just the willingness to share and explore. Yet a gnawing doubt lingered. Could she maintain that balance while tending to her responsibilities? I could try that, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, the weight of the decision hanging in the air between them. Good, he smiled, that reassuring smile that softened his sharp features. When do we start? Tonight, she stated, a sudden determination coursing through her. She hadn't anticipated feeling this degree of excitement alongside trepidation. Over dinner. I'll let you into my world, and we can see where it goes. As they walked back towards the car, Emily felt a mixture of hope and fear, the swirling of a new chapter beginning as the shadows of her past flickered at the edges of her heart. This was both exhilarating and terrifying, the prospect of intertwining her uncertain emotional landscape with the demands of her profession. The drive home was charged with silence, but it was a silence that spoke of possibilities. It felt like both a leap into the unknown and a crucial step towards forging a path that crossed both her personal and professional lives. What would happen when they delved deeper into their conversations? Would opening the floodgates of vulnerability strengthen her or unravel everything she had worked for? The uncertainty loomed ahead, ripe with potential. Emily was on the brink of a profound transformation, and she could almost sense the precipice waiting to be crossed. Arriving home, Emily dropped her bag on the cluttered table and leaned against the door, breathing in the sense of takeout she had meant to throw away. The disarray mirrored her mind, thoughts scattered like the crumpled papers strewn across the surface. She longed for order in both her physical surroundings and within herself. The mere thought of dinner with David filled her with a mix of excitement and dread. What would she say? The rational side of her urged caution. Real conversation meant peeling back layers she wasn't sure she was ready to expose. The chaotic realm of the hospital felt safe in comparison. There she wore her armor, a sterile coat, masks, and an unyielding focus on tasks. In contrast, sharing her emotional landscape felt like standing naked in the storm. Yet a flicker of determination surged within. If she were ever to find balance, honesty had to be at the core. Perhaps David's offer of simplicity, of conversations without pressure, could provide a release from the weight she had been carrying alone. That evening, the aroma of garlic and spices intersected with the crisp night air as David arrived. He stepped into her world with an easy smile, seemingly unburdened by the emotional undertow that threatened to pull her under. "I brought dessert," he said, holding up a small box. "Great," she said, her effort to sound casual falling short. She gestured him inside, feeling each moment pulse with unspoken possibilities. As they settled in at her small kitchen table, she realized the stark contrast between her professional self and this vulnerable new territory. "So, what do you want to know about my work?" she asked, attempting to redirect the emphasis away from her insecurities. David leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing in thought. "I want to hear about the things that scare you. What challenges you the most?" The directness of his question startled her. It was a journey she wasn't sure she was prepared to take. "That's a tough one," she admitted, fingers fidgeting with the edge of her napkin. "Every day I face life and death. It's heavy." He regarded her with a thoughtful gaze. "Is it the weight that pushes you to keep going, or is it the fear of failure?" "Both." The dual forces churned within her. "It's the fear of letting others down, of making mistakes when it matters most. I don't usually allow myself to dwell on the emotional repercussions, but standing in front of someone, knowing they depend on you, it's a lot." David nodded, deep empathy shadowing his features. "That's incredible, Emily. But what about your own vulnerabilities?" She cringed. How had they ended up here? Emotional revelations felt like jumping from a cliff into dark waters below. "I don't always know how to share those, to ask for help or to show weakness. I keep that part locked away." His expression softened further. "And what if opening up could actually make you stronger?" "Are you sure about that?" she challenged lightly, yet inside, her heart raced at the prospect. "Absolutely. We're human after all. We need connection, not just in the hospital, but in life." Their conversation flowed like a river, winding through depths of her fears and aspirations. And with each shared thought, Emily felt lighter. Still, the embers of doubt simmered within her. Was this truly the beginning of redefining her life's balance, or merely a fleeting escape? As the night drew on, the outline of her newfound resilience began to form, but it was far from complete. Could she genuinely allow someone like David to see her flaws, to witness the wavering foundations beneath her steadfast facade? The excitement of vulnerability beckoned, yet a darker, insidious fear lingered. What if opening her heart led to abandonment, to being let down one more time? With those swirling uncertainties, Emily glanced up at David, who was openly captivated by her words. In that moment, a pivotal decision lay before her. She could steer this conversation towards safety yet again, or she could plunge deeper, fully embrace the challenge, and open the door to what she truly desired, a connection forged in honesty. "David," she said suddenly, her voice steady but low, "there's something I need to tell you." The air thickened with tension, as if time paused. To witness her admission, would she finally share what lay heavy on her heart, or retreat into the familiar shadows? The weight of decision hung palpably in the air, ready to either anchor her down or propel her into an unforeseen future. What would she choose? The moment of truth was at hand. Emily steadied her breath, feeling a rush of adrenaline course through her veins. The seconds stretched between them, David's gaze steady and encouraging, yet probing enough to unearth the buried truths she kept so closely guarded. "I've been feeling lost lately," she finally managed, the admission ripping past her defenses. "In my work, I'm supposed to be this pillar of strength, but inside, it often feels like I'm crumbling." David's eyes softened with understanding. "You don't have to be perfect, Emily. No one can be." It was a simple truth, yet it struck her like lightning. The relentless expectations she set for herself created a choking fog of uncertainty. "But what if I fail? What if I'm seen as frail or incapable?" His gentle smile held no judgment. "Then you address those feelings. Failures are not the end. They're just stepping stones." Tension fluttered around them, but Emily felt something release within her. Sharing fears should have felt like an admission of weakness, but instead it was liberating. Honesty bore a vitality she hadn't anticipated. "David," she ventured deeper, emboldened, "I've never shared how I truly feel about relationships." "Then let's talk about it," he encouraged, leaning in. "Every time I find myself wanting to open up, I see the potential for hurt echoing from my past. I fear losing again. It leaves me paralyzed, uncertain of whether to participate at all." He nodded slowly, earlier amusement replaced with seriousness. "You've built walls that aren't just for protection. They keep people out, even the ones who mean no harm." A pang of reality hit her. He was right. Her defenses isolated her, and in doing so, they suffocated her ability to feel. The thought of letting someone in, despite the pain from before, was terrifying yet immensely appealing. "How do you overcome that fear?" she asked, her curiosity piquing. "By accepting that disappointment is just possible," he replied. "It's always a risk when you let someone in, but connection is worth it." She contemplated his words, a flicker of hope igniting within her. Maybe it was time to let someone peek behind the curtain of her carefully constructed life, to challenge the fear that had dictated her choices for so long. "I want to try," she whispered, "to share more, to let go of the way I've kept myself at bay." His gaze brightened, and Emily could see encouragement reflected back at her. "That's a brave decision, Emily. Growth stems from vulnerability." A rush of warmth filled her spirit as they both settled into the moment. For the first time, Emily felt like she was balancing on the cusp of a new chapter, a possibility fueled by connection rather than fear. "Can I ask you something?" she ventured, the words tinged with a newfound determination. "Anything," he replied, excitement flickering in his eyes. "What do you fear the most when it comes to relationships?" The question held her breath, revealing the personal stakes of this entire conversation. David shifted slightly, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. "I fear investing in someone who won't return the favor, that I'll care too much or too soon, and it'll end in disappointment." His honesty resonated with her own fears, the emotional landscapes laid bare before them. Emily could feel the evening wrapping around them like a blanket, a small enclave where her guarded heart could explore new edges. "It sounds familiar," she confessed, her voice soft. "I guess we're both stepping out into the unknown." "Absolutely," he said, his voice steady, "but none of us are meant to tackle this alone." As they shared their insecurities, that night became a crucible for their fears and desires, firing them both into a new perspective. She could almost taste the tantalizing possibilities, but the weight of past disappointments still lingered. Would it intensify her hesitation or fuel her resolve? The question hung like a specter in the air. Could she truly risk opening herself to someone again, or would she retreat into the safety of her controlled existence? With each word exchanged, Emily felt the haze of doubt slowly lifting, yet the shadow of uncertainty whispered persistently in her mind. What came next would define not only her path with David, but the very essence of her emotional resilience. "Are we ready for this?" she questioned, the words brushing past her lips before she could contain them. "Only time will reveal that," David replied, the warmth in his eyes hinting that perhaps the journey had only just begun. But as she sat there, a sense of dawning clarity spread within her, urging her to confront not only her fears, but the very patterns that had held her back for far too long. What lessons could be uncovered if she surrendered the fear of vulnerability? The thought swirled within her, suggesting that the road ahead promised growth and deeper connections if she dared to step off the precipice. As the sun broke through the clouds the next morning, Emily felt an unfamiliar lightness in her heart, a far cry from the burdensome weight of doubt that had long tethered her spirit. The conversation with David had ignited something within her. It was no longer just about survival in her demanding world of nursing, nor about shackling herself to past disappointments. Each breath she took felt like a pledge to embrace the simple potential of connection. Throughout the day, the echoes of her profoundly revealing night bounced around her thoughts, solidifying into a newfound determination. With each patient she attended to at the hospital, she felt layers of her emotional armor disintegrate. No longer was she simply a caretaker. She began to redefine herself as a woman, willing to explore her vulnerabilities and engage in the complexities of human connection. "Emily, you seem different today," Ava observed during a quick break, "like the weight on your shoulders has lightened." "Maybe it has," Emily smiled, feeling a rare sense of authenticity blossoming within her. It was a stark contrast to the heaviness she had already felt earlier that week. I think I'm finally ready to let people in, to really connect." Ava's eyes gleamed with approval. "That's incredible! It's amazing what a little openness can do." As the day unfolded, Emily faced challenges that would have once felt daunting. From comforting anxious patients to collaborating more effectively with colleagues, she felt the ebb and flow of her confidence rising, weaving itself seamlessly with her compassion. By nightfall, as she clocked out, she felt a sense of accomplishment, even more gratifying than any medical success she had enjoyed before. She had conquered a series of personal barriers, not just by caring for others, but by accepting her own need for connection. Lively yet understated conversations with David filled her thoughts as she prepared for another evening together. Over the last few days, they had exchanged messages, each word deepening their bond. He had encouraged her, challenged her to ponder questions she'd previously avoided, and celebrated the vulnerable steps she was taking. When he arrived at her door that evening, he held a bouquet of flowers, a simple gesture that broke the remnants of doubt still lingering in the corners of her mind. "For you," he said, admiration evident in his gaze. "They're beautiful, David. Thank you," she replied, touched more by the gesture than she had anticipated. As they settled down for dinner, the atmosphere felt lighter and more electric than before. It was as if they were already part of a shared journey, one built on mutual exploration of their fears. "Tell me about a moment you felt unsure," David invited, his openness mirroring the invitation for her to share her truths. With a palpable vulnerability, she started recounting her first day in the ER, the moment when she had first faced overwhelming responsibility. "I remember feeling like I was standing atop a mountain. The pressure was immense. I was terrified I would fail someone." David listened, encouraging her to flesh out the fear. "But you made it through, right? What did you learn about yourself?" A smile replaced the lingering trepidation. "I learned I was capable of more than I ever thought, even when my heart raced in doubt. I realized I needed to trust myself more." "Exactly," he affirmed. Satisfaction highlighted his voice. "You grew from that moment, just like I believe we are growing together." The evening unfolded into layers of storytelling, echoing the past while slowly scripting the future. As they shared laughter over dinner, a moment of silence and connection settled between them, igniting the flickers of intimacy that had begun growing with each exchange. "What if we expand our growth beyond this dinner?" David asked. "Would you allow me to join you at work, to see part of your world?" Emily hesitated for a breath. Sharing her professional life with all its demands and chaos felt vulnerable. Yet the earnest gaze from David provided assurance. "I would love that," she replied impulsively. "Then let's set a date. I want to understand more of what makes you, you." Deciding to share more aspects of her life fueled a warm sense of accomplishment within her. She was evolving, reshaping her view of intimacy, not as a risk that could lead to pain, but as an opportunity to explore, experience, and overcome barriers together. As they wrapped up dinner, a sense of readiness washed over her. She wasn't merely opening a door to David, she was inviting him into a new chapter of her life, fortified by the realization that vulnerability could indeed lead to something magnificent. That night, as she tucked Jake into bed, she reflected on the transformation steadily taking root in her life. When she kissed him goodnight, she felt the palpable shift. She was no longer just a caretaker. She was a participant in her own story. The next morning was filled with purpose. Her heart thumped with anticipation as she prepared for the day. Later, as they met for lunch at the hospital, David was at her side, seamlessly fitting into her chaotic world. It was an exhilarating experience. His calm demeanor grounded her amidst the frenzy. Together, they navigated the ebb and flow of patients' needs. His presence infused joy into the atmosphere, bridging the divide between their two lives in an unexpectedly comforting manner. "Emily, I see how much your work means to you," he said, amidst shared smiles and conversation with colleagues. "It's inspiring. You truly shine here." A flush of pride warmed her. This was validation, a recognition not just of her professional competence, but of the deeper personal growth she was embarking upon. By confronting her fears of connection, she had taken her first steps toward a self-defined future, as a fully formed individual capable of balancing love and duty. With every challenge ahead, she felt revitalized, confident in her ability to adapt. With David beside her, they were forging a new path, intertwined in shared understanding and vulnerability. In each flicker of laughter and recognition, Emily realized that she had not just welcomed David into her life, she had wholeheartedly embraced the possibility of love, an opportunity that would provide fortitude in the face of uncertainty. The shadows of her past no longer held a claim over her. They were instead stepping stones leading to a brighter, interconnected future. It was time to open the next chapter, to continue shaping a life defined by resilience and connection. As she stood tall, looking towards the horizon, a blossoming sense of achievement blossomed within her mind and heart, a fulfillment that surged with potential and excitement. And as she took that first step forward, she felt unburdened by the weight of the past, ready to embrace a new beginning built on the solid foundation of love, courage, and trust. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference in reaching others who need to hear these outcomes. Comment your reactions and theories about the ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion, because your support matters more than ever. Don't wait even one more second to share the journey of personal overcoming.